Tucker Carlson claims Obama used to smoke crack and enjoy gay sex. But nobody dares report on it ahead of the 2008 election. This is the top of the Daily Mail right now, the most read website in the world. If you don't believe that this is causing insane panic right now inside of the regime, oh baby, I got a bridge to sell you in Alaska. Tucker Carlson claims Barack Obama enjoyed smoking crack, having gay sex. Nobody talked about it because they all wanted access to the Obama administration. Now, Tucker Carlson makes these claims and says these things. These were the claims that were made back in 2008 by a guy named Larry Sinclair when Obama was running for the his first election. Larry Sinclair is the guy who smoked crack and had sex with Barack Obama. He got a lawyer. He said this. He signed a sworn affidavit and said, "This is what happened to me." And this is my story, and you need to know this about a guy who claims he wants to become president because he's lying to you. Well, nobody took him seriously, but maybe they should have. What have we learned in the last couple of weeks? Well, according to the authoritative Obama biographer, a man named David Garrow, a guy who is hardly a Republican and by the way, I cannot encourage you enough to read this article at Tablet Magazine, hardly a MAGA hat wearing America Firster, David Garrow is a liberal, and he's somebody who admires Barack Obama. But David Garrow straight up says all of Barack Obama's life is a lie. All of it is a manufactured lie.
I'm seeing it.
That Barack Obama did fantasize about sleeping with men. David Garrow straight up says it. Again, this is Barack Obama's biographer. Now, Barack Obama says this in his own hand, saying effectively to his ex-girlfriend, "I make love to men daily," but in the imagination. He says this in a letter. Nobody has questioned the authenticity of this letter. There is the letter for you on screen. Now, what is...
Bro, what? How do you I keep on having to go through this. How do you screenshot this? Command Shift and 3. Command Shift and 3. I had to, cause this is beyond me.
Why does this matter? Well, I mean, it doesn't actually, as it pertains to Barack Obama's personal life. As Tucker Carlson said, he can like dudes, that's his business. But what matters is the machine.
It is, but at the same time, like,
machine that is set up around Barack Obama to lie for him. That everything about the Obama administration and the preceding administrations, which is this Biden is Obama's third term. All of this, everything that we're living through, is this Obama regime. The absolute destruction of our nation is happening because of this man's lies. Baby, maybe it's time for us to start learning the truth. And this is what Tucker Carlson says in a recent interview. Check this out.
You know, everybody I knew, the world I lived in Northwest DC, like everyone works either directly for the government or is a parasite on government effectively, including people I love and know really well. And the media is too, by the way. I mean, the media is reporting on government, but it's also dependent on government. You know, in 2008, it became really clear that Barack Obama had been having sex with men and smoking crack. And a guy came forward, Larry Sinclair, and said, "I'll sign an affidavit." And he did. "I'll take a lie detector." And he did. "I smoked crack with Barack Obama and had sex with him." Well, that was obviously true.
And we see what's going on in the White House right now. Thinking it's okay to do that. Like, bro, like...
Nobody reported it, not because they were squeamish about sex or drugs, but because the Obama campaign said anyone who reports on this gets no access to the Obama campaign. And so they didn't report on it. So that happens. That's just one small example, but that happens all the time with lots of different issues.
Now, do you believe that transpired, or do you believe the guy is legitimate, or both?
Oh, the Larry Sinclair story? Oh, that definitely happened. Oh, for sure. I mean, I've talked to Larry Sinclair about it, and definitely it happened. I mean, Larry Sinclair's been in and out of prison. during one period, I mean, 40 years ago, he was in and out of prison. He's got a criminal record by definition. He's, poor. He's got a disordered life. He's missing a tooth. Like, he's not, an Atlantic fellow. He's not going to the Aspen Ideas Festival. I think he has a record of deception. Obviously, he does. But this story, if you listen to it in detail, is clearly true. I mean, I'm going to do an interview with him and you can hear it. And again, it's not going to change the world that Barack Obama likes dudes. I think this was well known. Barack Obama said so himself in a letter to his girlfriend. And by the way, that's kind of Barack Obama's business. I'm not attacking him for liking dudes. I'm just saying the amount of lying in the media about it was unbelievable. Like, people knew this was true. And it was quite obviously true at the time. And people who covered the campaign didn't say anything about it because they didn't want to lose access to the campaign. And that happens all the time up and down government. So it's almost like if you have a housekeeper, you think, oh, she works for me. But if you have a housekeeper long enough, you realize, well, you actually work for her. And you get caught up in her dramas. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. There's a weird dynamic where you switch places with people.
And by the way, fire her abruptly and she'll write a tell-all book about Tucker at home.
That's exactly right. And, we don't even have a full-time housekeeper. So, like, that's not going to be an issue for me. But the point is, you think you're holding government accountable, but actually they're controlling you. That's really the dynamic in Washington. But, you're living in the soup and it's hard to see it at work. And this is a long way of saying the conclusions I've reached are middle-aged conclusions. And that's a lot of it. Right. It's just that I've gotten older and you can't see certain things when you're younger. And it's like young people, you'd think they'd be the most open-minded of all. They're the least open-minded because they're afraid of the future. So they want to believe whatever storyline they've been fed is true. Like, the only problem with America is white supremacy, and like our tax system is fair, and Kennedy was assassinated by a lone gunman or whatever. They don't want to. They don't want to face like the terrifying unknown and complexities of the actual world we live in, the reality of life, which is like we have no freaking idea what's going on. Actually, they don't want to admit that.
So. Whoa.
That's bad, though.
This is Tucker Carlson just spitting hot bars,
Fact.
Speaking the truth and saying that every reporter would not report on something they knew was happening, something they knew was true.
Because of the Obama campaign.
Because they wanted access to Barack Obama's administration and because they were Democrats and they knew that it would hurt him. Because nobody likes a liar. And so now every single thing that we are living in right now, the consequences of the media being incapable of asking these questions and exposing these lies about Barack Obama. You can see here's a wonderful example. I mean, again, this is Barack Obama's own hand writing about his fantasies with having sex with men every single day. What's behind the right to Obama's gay conspiracy? Writes The Nation. The wing's nuttery gay baiting is not just a fringe phenomenon. It's part of a Republican tradition. They call it the conspiracy, and if they call it a conspiracy, well, then, ladies and gentlemen, maybe it's time that you start asking what's true and what's not.